Well, the United States is about to give up control of the system it oversees to manage the internet. I tweeted about this earlier and got a huge response from people on Twitter. Federal officials are announcing plans to open up the body of domain names and web addresses to the global internet community. And this move would mean giving up control over a system that was invented right here in America. That's raising some concern about the risk to our national security, what the financial fallout could be as well, because they might have to tax us to pay somebody else to do this. Our next guest says he saw this coming a while ago. He predicted this would happen in 2010, and there is, in fact, risk. Brad Blakeman is former deputy assistant to President George W. Bush. Brad, good to see you tonight.
Thank you, Harrison.
First of all, explain to us exactly what is potentially going to happen.
What's going to happen is the Department of Commerce keeps track and doles out all the domain names and all the IP addresses which allow people to gain access to the internet. And now the Obama administration is basically ceding that authority to an international body. There was some talk back in 2010. I wrote an op-ed for Newsmax and detailed very evidentially the facts behind the decision, and now we're coming to a point where the Obama administration has basically said they're going to let this international body, which we will be part of, have a say in who gets the names and the IP addresses. It's wrong.
Why are they doing it? If this isn't a good idea and people are telling them, why is the administration choosing to do this?
Well, I think it's part of the president's strategy of appeasement and pandering. He decided long ago that he was going to take this step. Now he's made the decision to do it, and I think it's appeasing the international community. There is no evidence at all that we have denied people access to the internet. As a matter of fact, as you pointed out, it was developed by our government, and we gave it to the world. The internet is in every country, and it's never been alleged that the United States has denied access. On the contrary, countries like China and Russia and Cuba and other countries are now seeking to have a say in who gets access to the internet. I think it's dangerous for America. I don't think it should happen, and we should control it. We made it. We paid for it. It's ours. Is there any way for people to track more than they already can our travel on the internet if we give up this ability to keep up with the web addresses? That remains to be seen, but certainly if the international community has a say on who gets the IP addresses and domain names, it's certainly then out of our control. And as you know, we get tens of thousands of attacks both to our private sector and our public sector every day. And the biggest threat to our country is no longer nuclear, it's cyber, and we are giving up the very asset which can make our country safer. You know, not to broaden this out too much, but it's interesting that we're talking about cybersecurity on the heels of what happened with the Affordable Care Act and the Obamacare website and all the problems with that website. You're absolutely right. If anything, we should be trying to make it safer and better and more open to the world. And what you're going to have happen in the UN and other places is people who are not very kind to us are going to use the internet against us, the very people who developed it. Real quickly, I want to talk about the money aspect of this, because now you have to pay somebody else to do this. Could they raise our taxes? Well, they could raise access fees for domain names and IP addresses. Right now, our access that we give the world is cents compared to what could happen if an international body decided that they were going to change the way the system is run. Brad, before I let you go, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about what's going on in Ukraine tonight with the reports of these Russian troops moving in. And I'm talking hours, short hours before this vote, whether or not those people are going to stay with Western democracy type model or they're going to move with Russia, how they'll vote. And now you have all these troops. Your thoughts? Well, I think this is reminiscent of back in the 30s when Hitler decided he was going to take the Sudetenland and basically Europe made a deal. The Czechs weren't part of it. That was an appeasement to Hitler that he would go no further, and we all know how that turned out. But Putin unlawfully taking Crimea may just be the first salvo in his attempt to put back this puzzle that was the Soviet Union. Does the United States have a card to play? No, not under this president. I think Putin has played us well, and I don't think the president has any option at this point, certainly when Europe is standing down. Wow. Okay, well, we are watching it because when they do go to the polls, when they do get to vote, it'll be daylight. It's already Sunday there, but hopefully we'll start to get some video very soon. Brad Blakeman, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Thank you.